Rodzyn is the guy that's supposed to go and lose every single match, and he's going to be fighting to not do that.
Yep, absolutely. As we get into the bottom left-hand corner, with the red pro display, the player who's been in these regionals many a time before, this is NightPhoenix.
And his opponent in the top right-hand side, it is playing Protoss, Rodzyn. It is a PvP though, so maybe there's some magic that can be brought, but I would imagine NightPhoenix is definitely the favorite here, right, Wardicho?
Yeah, I would say so. Just more experienced, a little bit more well-rounded. I'd pick NightPhoenix if I had to choose, and look at NightPhoenix go. He's mining out the gold minerals. He wants to proxy something, I imagine, top side of the map, and just somewhere it's impossible to scout with a probe, right?
Yeah, that's pretty nifty. That's pretty cool, actually. It would be impossible to scout indeed, and it's not too bad of a proxy location for something like a starport if he wants to go for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting, like a Stargate, super close to the base, and like I say, very difficult to know about unless you check for the minerals having been mined out, so cool idea by NightPhoenix. He gets through on 3 attempts, and now he's going to go up to the top, so that beginning of the proxy will form, and we'll see how this plans out.
Yeah, looking good so far. I mean, he already has the money for a pylon, so he's gonna drop it here on sort of a high ground. It's still a very short distance. This might be one of the shortest distances that you can actually get. So this is pretty cool. I expected him to go to the top of the map, but really he only has time to drop it here and still be efficient with things, right? And it's still the distance is still very similar. So it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool indeed. I'm with you. Kind of a cool in between of like going all the way versus this is still close enough. You know, the time lost running to the top is probably more time lost than the Oracle fly in the few extra seconds, right? So yeah, we are just going to get that Stargate building, and that is going to be the setup already. So Stargate on the way. I'm just going to be having that probe. Does not really again know anything right now as Rodzyn, so I kind of like the experienced players like, hey, I've been on this rodeo before, you know, I know how things go down, I know how to make it different, I know how to make your life a little bit tricky, and just kind of showing us, again, a bit of experience, kind of doing something a bit quirky, newer map, showing us the ability to understand how this map can be utilized in such a way, so I love that.
Yeah, this is beautifully planned. I mean, yeah, to the inches, right? Like, it's completely unscoutable. It looks so very good for NightPhoenix. It's about the best distance that you can get. So let's see if we can make it work. It's going to be 2 adepts to apply pressure and force the sentries to be on the lookout at the front here. Rodzyn is trying to expand as well. Okay, this is a good start actually for Rodzyn, as he is going to catch both of those adepts. Only 2 probes go down, and really good reaction time. That will free him up to potentially have a successful defense here, and this hallucinated Phoenix might just scout the Oracle as well on the way. That's beautiful.
Yeah, gets the heads up, so yeah, these adepts kind of giving themselves up too early, and now units in position. Oracle will not get anything done at all, and this proxy is going to go to waste. Okay, we're still going to get 2 Oracles out of it, but definitely not what you originally wanted to happen here, so that is a big sequence of events, and that's going to favor Rodzyn that little bit, definitely give him a little bit of an advantage setting up. As 2 more adepts are going to try and come in, but not really looking as though too much is going to come of that just yet.
Yeah, good reaction there from Rodzyn, though it ends up being unnecessary as well. So nice bait there from NightPhoenix, as he's going to continue to pretend to threaten rather to shade in the adepts. Instead, he's just working away at a pylon. It's unlikely that he gets it with the stalker here trying to defend, and now a second one joining it.
Yep, I'm just going to be seeing the Stalkers able to push back those adepts, and that is nice to just get rid of them. Obviously, less pressure you have to play against, and you can see Rodzyn just benefiting from this successful defense so far, and obviously clearing up a couple units for free, essentially, and not losing too many workers along the way does mean that his economy is still standing strong behind all of this, and that's the important thing as well. As a couple Stalkers and the Adept come back over. Just going to see the
Adept will threaten to shade in again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's enough of a continuity of units there from Rodzyn, and there isn't even a shield battery, so he just feeling very comfortable and confident with the units there. And now, I mean, there is 2 Oracles out there, so shield battery wouldn't be particularly effective at this stage either. Things are looking very good for him. Blink is nearly done as well, so easier punish onto these Oracles should they continue to get aggressive, and the potential to be aggressive himself, take more map control, and potentially fan out to a 3rd soon.
Yep. I was going to see the couple oracles diving into the main, by the way, so just going to get an attempt to go there once again, just really trying to find this damage. NightPhoenix wants to try and eke out as much of an edge he can off of this investment that he's made. Just have the robo facility is about to be done on the side of Rodzyn, so again with Blink up, it's going to give him so much more map control, so much more ability to kind of get stuff done, and yeah, I love that for Rodzyn, man. Like, he's set to go, and yeah, those oracles have to stay safe now, because next time they go in, they're going to get blinked on.
They will. An observer as well being made now for a Rodzyn. Do you like his position then? Safe to say Wardicho over NightPhoenix's? NightPhoenix is still getting the faster third, and I'm not sure. Like, it felt like a really good set of events, a really good defense for Rodzyn, but why isn't he further ahead, you feel like? Or
I think
or does he not have a right to be?
It's just not the numbers that show the lead, right? Because, yeah, okay, he's a little bit behind on the third, but he's up a couple of probes, and he has Blink, and Blink is such a huge kind of telltale advantage. He has Blink, and he has 11 stalks to the 4. He's working on his own Immortal, so he's not even out-teched in that regard, and I think that's the issue. He's got Blink as his advantage, but he's not doing anything to really show that.
Right.
Because he could be on the map. He doesn't need to be the player building an Immortal right now. You know, he isn't in danger of having to defend. Now, if further down the line he wants the Immortals, that's great, but that's not going to show the advantage right now, which, like I say, is pretty much in that Blink timing. And he's just going to take his own third down that right side instead.
That's tough. And now his opponent is getting his own Blink, right? So when that advantage is negated, then all of a sudden you can no longer get value out of those units, out of that upgrade, which allows you to basically take no losses and potentially get some little pickoffs here and there. So completely with you, Wardicho. I now see where the advantage lied, and I can see how it's potentially dissipating away as the economies are completely even. NightPhoenix does have that faster third, and yeah, this game will look to stabilize in even positions, kind of sadly, I guess.
Yeah, but definitely opportunity missed, you could argue, right? Just not quite that killer instinct to go. I mean, it's scary because if you go across with those stalkers and the Immortals out and you just can't get anything done, then you know, then you're like in oh crap, this wasn't good for me moment. But I think he was enough ahead, like you said, to kind of expect to be able to get to do something. So Oracles dive in. We're going to get a couple probes, but it does come at the cost of an Oracle as well.
Yeah, and I mean, if there was ever a time to move out, maybe now would be it. But Blink is about to finish on the other side. +1 is now faster for NightPhoenix as well. Charge is coming up for Rodzyn, so maybe there's a sell-out timing or something of the sorts that he can utilize in unison with his +1. Should he chrono boost that? Not sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously just +1 would be nice. You know, if you're going to be behind the upgrades, better to not be behind. So anytime you can cut off of that difference would be a pretty big deal. So should be a priority target. As fourth base comes down here from NightPhoenix as well. So he takes that expansion pattern we saw in the earlier PvP cats. Obviously talked a bit about it here. Obviously Rodzyn going for the different route, which is very interesting. I'd love to see where Rodzyn ends up taking a fourth base, because to me that's going to be very intriguing. Right now though, we do break into a bit of a fight. Once those Immortals start whacking away though, those Stalkers really do just have to get to Blink, and there's no way they can really stick around on that one.
Yeah, and that's gonna turn out to be great trade-offs for Rodzyn here, who continues to chase as well. And that's really nice for him, but can he do anything to capitalize? There's still Immortals with a lot of Sentry energy actually on the side of NightPhoenix, a lot less Sentry energy on the side of Rodzyn. So, you know, like choosing where and how the engagements go and the surface area is going to be on the side of NightPhoenix primarily. He will catch a lot of these Stalkers as well. He has to be very, very careful, as a blink forward of more Stalkers is going to give chase, and that means the trade-offs are not going to ever go well for Rodzyn. He will blink once again, this time to safety, but his fourth is delayed.
I'm just going to be seeing the couple Archons continue up from Rodzyn. That is going to mean that he gets a little bit more tech in play, but NightPhoenix's army numbers definitely looking good, and obviously just him having a fourth base going to start giving himself the ability to have the economic advantage as well, so I think that's always going to be a big deal.
That would be a huge deal for him indeed. He is already ahead in that regard, and we'll continue to lengthen that advantage most likely. Rodzyn is going to be opting into a robotics bay now, so perhaps an extra robo, so perhaps looking to transition now into disruptors. And I mean, that would be nice. That's what I was asking before on this map as well, like why aren't they going into disruptors or transitioning further? So do you feel like there's gonna exist some opening for NightPhoenix to hit and end the game before disruptors?
Yeah, I mean, his supply is good, right? I mean, you would imagine the only thing I would say is maybe annoying that is just the map layout, right? Again, it's just very choked up. You're always attacking up the same avenue. It's very difficult to do anything different. So in that regard, it might just be defendable enough for Rodzyn to buy the time to get there. So we will see as we just have a few more Zealots warping in from Rodzyn. He's going to turn this army of NightPhoenix around. We blink down. We're going to chase after, and Archon goes down. Everything being chased about for a little bit. The Zealots coming around the left side from NightPhoenix. This is obviously where he wants to have his moment before the Disruptors are out, like you're suggesting, Cats. And he is chasing, and it just doesn't feel like the tech units are really here from Rodzyn. Really, because I guess we're, again, relying on those Disruptors showing up. Cancels the 4th phase. That alone is enough from NightPhoenix. He doesn't have to go any further now.
Yeah, Disruptor shot will warn that those are out as well, but one has been utilized, so maybe there's still a timing for NightPhoenix to try to exploit before enough of those come out, and it looks like he does want to take it, so he's gonna go for a full-on engage here at the natural. The Disruptor shot barely clips one Zealot, and the next round of Zealots is there for Rodzyn, but so it is true for NightPhoenix. So I think we're gonna turn around and fight this. Disruptor shot will be massive, actually getting 6 Zealots. That's gonna allow for Rodzyn to blink on forward and actually catch the War Prism on the way out. 2 sentries and a Stalker get clipped by the next event there from the Disruptor, and it's looking pretty okay for Rodzyn to at least defend and look to stabilize. And if you're him, maybe you should also look for a counter attack right now. I mean, this was a very strong and unexpected to me cleanup.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is a cleanup and a half, and he gets himself a chance again now, right? So there's once again that position where you're going to be in that good spot, you're going to be able to have defended. And this is what you need, because now you're on those Disruptors, so now your opponent is behind on tech, so you take the tech advantage. And now, maybe with Disruptors out, you actually have a real way to defend your 4th base. That was the issue previously, remember? So if you can actually get the 4th base up this time, that would be incredible.
That would be incredible. And yeah, I mean, for the side of NightPhoenix as well, a lot of what, even though he did take a very strong engagement at the 4th, he had all of that sentry energy as well that he never really got to use, and Archons were out at some point as well. So I feel like there was a lot of dead investment in some sense into sentries. But I'm not sure if that could have been exploited before, or if he felt he already got the value from them just being alive and scouting in the early game.
Yeah. Good point as the next continues through. The next on both sides, in fact. Fleet Beacon coming up, and we get ourselves, well, the ability to kind of go into some heavy attack units in the near future. Just gonna see the Prism coming through as well. Disruptor about to finish. Archon still on the way. A couple Nexus building also. Again, looking decent in that regard as we just have the army still gathering up and getting set to go into the middle now.
Yeah, gotta be really careful. However, as he's gonna be going into Disruptor shots, and 2 of them already land. 2 of those Archons are bruised, and the first one killed a good chunk of units as well. So things are looking pretty good for Rodzyn on defense here, as NightPhoenix is opting into a mothership to try and make something else happen. Outmaneuver, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, one of those moments where I think you can just... You gotta find ways to attack around the map, and the mothership and recall plays could be one of those ways, right? That could be some way to kind of make that, go a little bit differently for you. So, could be a little bit of a factor. The army still gathering up in the center here. So, yet to see what exactly the play or plan is. A few Zealots gonna charge up at the top. Yeah, I mean, this is, like I say, what NightPhoenix has to aim for, because he's not playing the Disruptor game himself, right? So, he's got to have some kind of a plan, and that's got to be, like, like you suggested, kind of play the opposition game. My goodness.
Oh no! Yeah, I mean, that Disruptor shot actually ends up shooting one of his Zealots and the Archon as well on the side of Rodzyn, who is trying to defend against an attack from NightPhoenix. 3 Archons are being left to their own devices, but yeah, everywhere stuff is happening here, as this Disruptor is also going to be exposed and taken down. Good surface area and the better concave there for NightPhoenix onto that expansion favors him. On the other side, he also has managed to fan out, and on the back of Rodzyn, bleeding units here and there, he is getting pushed back. That last Disruptor shot was very good, however, with the next set of weapons, he might just have enough to barely hold on, but maybe not. It's looking like NightPhoenix has a little bit too much, and kind of out of nowhere, and small mistakes and just bleeding out from Rodzyn, taking a few bad engagements here and there. It looks like this game has come to a complete collapse.
Credit to NightPhoenix, because we were talking about this map not being an easy one to attack on, and he made it happen with a set of attacks, right? Like, he committed to this style that needs to be attacking, and he found a way to make that work, found a way to make that deliver, and that is obviously a huge factor there.
Yeah, I mean, when he shows up into the fourth or the fifth now of Rodzyn, right, and it's just starting to build with a few zealots, that was pretty nice. But then unfortunately for Rodzyn, I mean, the way that he chose to defend that area was, you have 6 zealots there, I'm gonna send 8 and not even look, right? And the not even look part was kind of like the problem for him there, because NightPhoenix put his zealots in such a position that they traded so effectively with a better concave time and time again, and Rodzyn probably thought that he already had dealt with that, and he didn't, and that caused so many more problems on the other side and splitting his attention, and yeah, ends up taking just bad engagements everywhere, bleeding some units here and there, and now it looks pretty close to impossible.
You know, Stalkers get clipped by the Disruptor. We have the Forge about to finish from Rodzyn. 7, 8 more Zealots all coming up from NightPhoenix, who's just got the army supply advantage. He's got the mothership overhead too. Stalkers are blinking through to go out and chase after Disruptors, and they will be more or less successful. Rodzyn is making this problematic, or longer than it should be perhaps, but realistically the reinforcements are here. The Prism does get shot down, but again, the numbers that are here already should be more than enough as NightPhoenix pushes through and will guarantee victory for game number 1. So NightPhoenix opens the scoring, but not easily, Cats. I mean, we talk about Rodzyn being the underdog. A lot of this game, he made NightPhoenix's life extremely difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely an uphill battle for NightPhoenix a lot of the time, right? Like, really strong defense from Rodzyn at the start. Very good decision making, I think. And then, I mean, that hold was insane. And then once he holds, it gave us hope, right? That when he was getting to those disruptor numbers, if you get maxed out, like you were pointing out to, he had the tech advantage at that point. So NightPhoenix was kind of running out of options, it felt like, as far as trying to make something happen to you know, the divide and conquer and kind of like take engagements everywhere. And that's why he was going for the mothership. It didn't even come into the game in a way that it made him win, right? Like by the time it was out, the game was already over. But I felt like that mothership was kind of like his last attempt at trying to play that early mid game. And if that failed, Rodzyn was definitely going to outscale him, and it was looking pretty good for him.
Yeah, no, I think Rodzyn just fell apart at kind of the final hurdle. You know, if he holds in that moment, it's very tough for NightPhoenix. It's only going to get better for Rodzyn because he's playing the more defensive style. As we get ready to go on Alcyone, which is going to be map number 2. NightPhoenix looking for hopefully a smoother run. He would love to get to 1-1 in this group and to have a good shot continuing in the Swiss matches. We'll see if he can do just that as we go into the countdown and into this game. We've got ourselves in the bottom left-hand side. I'm going to assume Niall is there. Yes, he is in the bottom left-hand side. Our red Protoss player up 1-0. It is NightPhoenix.
And his opponent in the top right-hand side of the map, it is Rodzyn.
Alright then. Alcyone for the map. We'll see what kind of a PvP we're going to be getting ourselves in the next few moments as those probes come online. We'll see if anyone's going to get super aggressive, stay on one base. We'll see if we get to go 2 base each. Once more here. Honestly, this map, if you're NightPhoenix, you got to like it a little bit more because it's definitely a more open map if you want to play that similar style of, hey, I'm going to be the aggressor, I'm going to be active, I'm going to try and fight into all of your bases if this goes late. So in that regard, I like this a little bit more for NightPhoenix than how I liked Game 1, just based on how he played there. But imagine he plays a similar style this time too.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, I mean, for Rodzyn, it feels like a lot of what happened to him is similar to what happened to our history, right? Like, where a lot of the ideas are there, but maybe like just lacking like the foresight to execute a little bit faster or lean on certain advantages, or maybe just, I don't know if there was so much a mechanical problem for him as it was for our story, but certainly he had parts of his play that were very refined and very well executed, and some other parts that were just ever so barely lacking. So if he can tweak those just a bit, I think he will be a very strong contender here, at least in this particular match. This time around, however, he is choosing to be sneaky with a proxy.
Yeah, gonna get into that top left-hand side and just try and cause a little bit of trouble, a little bit of chaos early on. Just gonna get that set for the moment.
Just a fake.
Yeah, obviously in PvP, just hiding the pylon alone can kind of get your opponent thinking, right? So there's value to just kind of putting that there, then not doing anything with it. So That's not an uncommon play for the matchup.
That is lovely. And instead, there is just going to be a normal transition here then. And NightPhoenix is going to be a little bit paranoid about things. He's actually going to look around for the proxy. I was wondering whether he would mine the mineral for some reason. But obviously, if those minerals aren't mined, your opponent couldn't be on the other side as far as that proxy is concerned. Which is something that NightPhoenix did himself last time. So yeah, he's not going to find anything. On the other side, actually, he might. He does find the pylon. Second probe sent out onto the map.
Cool. I mean, that's just good to know, because now you know the pylon is there and that there's nothing attached to it, so you just know that there's nothing to be really worried about here. As the Stargate comes online from NightPhoenix, he's taking essentially a more safe path to the expansion by going Stargate first. I imagine his expansion, there it is, already going down, so yep, he's going to follow up with an expand. So slightly faster expansion from Rodzyn, but obviously there is benefit to being the slower expander here, because you're going to have the Stargate units, and that's going to be something that can keep map control for you, something that can potentially deal damage for you as well, so not the end of the world if you're looking at this from NightPhoenix point of view, like, I built the Stargate, now I'm expanding slower, because yeah, having those oracles is going to be a major help. Of course, Rodzyn will start to move into the Twilight Council, so he's likely to head toward Blink from here, and so it does put a bit of pressure on those oracles to indeed pull their weight, because the opposition tech is going to be very good. Blink is almost always worthwhile in PvP.
Yeah, for sure. Also, the freebie pylon out on the map as well, which is going to pay for a lot of the time that the probes of NightPhoenix spend outside on the map. As he now looks to apply some pressure, Guardian Shield is a little bit late to the party, and only one Stalker remains here. There are 4 shields available, so maybe a little bit of a punish would be possible, but no. Rodzyn not using any of them onto the weaker Stalkers, instead goes for the healthier one and won't even get it. This is a disaster.
Yep, absolutely. Just losing a chunk of stuff right there. As the Oracle gets deflected too, so that gets pushed away. And defense is mood here, Cats, as Blink starts from Rodzyn, but even that is maybe not as quick as it could have been.
Yeah. Very, very tough. I mean, now we have also the 2 Oracles out and a contingency of Stalkers that, you know, like, look at them. They all could have died, but instead it's 4 of them that are alive without any rights to be. And they are looking to poke further and to make things happen with the reinforcing 2 Stalkers that just showed up. So things are looking insanely good here for NightPhoenix. I wouldn't even mind those Oracles collapsing onto this location and just ending the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, just whack a whole bunch of damage on this in any way possible, right? As we see the Oracles coming around the back, so that's going to be probe damage done, and that is just such a great addition. Just getting so many kills here. 5 workers going down, damage being dealt. Blink halfway done from Rodzyn, but obviously just nowhere near being done soon enough. So yeah, just missing out on any sort of way to kind of bring himself back into this.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. There's no way, right? It's basically what you just said, and there isn't. 11 workers go down, 39 to 27 after all is said and done. And on top of that, I mean, yeah, you just lost so much momentum. There is a Robo going down. At least he has Blink finishing, but yeah, I mean, it's tough.
It is indeed tough. Let's see a couple Stalkers continue to fight. There's a pylon going down. Blink is about to finish up on the side of Rodzyn. Robo facility coming up to being about halfway done. That's how our Stalkers are. Again, still pressuring. I mean, yeah, Blink halfway done for NightPhoenix. At this point, he could back it up, build Stalkers non-stop, and then just go once he has Blink, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Rodzyn going for the double stasis traps.
Yep.
We'll trap 2 probes in the process, and a couple of Stalkers perhaps. And on the other side, I mean, NightPhoenix, he doesn't have Blink, but he doesn't care. He has more Stalkers, so it's near impossible for Rodzyn to find anything. And yeah, this looks like it's going from bad to worse. That Immortal is the last saving grace perhaps for Rodzyn to try and stabilize, and he is chrono boosting it best as he can, but it's a ways away still. And Blink will be finished for NightPhoenix soon. And even if the Immortal comes out to stabilize, I mean, NightPhoenix can just easily take a third, and in fact he is right next to his opponent.
Yup. Thanks for Stalker, and we have Rodzyn trying to get this Immortal would be such a godsend, but man, it's never gonna get you as we blink in on top. The Oracles chase away, the Stalker's already having a good fight. Okay, there's a battery, but we're one-shotting Stalkers, so the battery doesn't even come into effect. We do deny the stasis ward attempt. I mean, now we're just gonna go for the pylons, get rid of both of those. You lose the robo power, you lose the battery. Eventually this pylon will go down, and now the probes start to drop. It looks as though NightPhoenix is indeed going to be done. GG's, NightPhoenix 2, Rodzyn 0.